What's up? Good afternoon. Welcome to Cohn and Krueger. That's Larry Krueger. I'm Grant Cohn, and we're going to be solving all the 49ers problems today as we do once a week, every week. And big problem number one is Brandon Aiyuk. They found a way around his absence all season, but against the Seahawks, when you watch the coach's film, it's so obvious that they're lacking him or someone who could be a legit number one receiver who can threaten the defense at all three levels. So they could trade for Jordan Addison, although, he gets arrested about once a year. Not ideal, but they could do that. I had another thought. When they got Aiyuk in the first place, they were replacing Emmanuel Sanders. They had the 31st pick in the draft. They traded that pick plus a fourth and a fifth to move up 6 selections to 25 and take Brandon Aiyuk. You know the draft better than me. Do you think there's a distinct possibility the Niners could do something similar this year, move up 5, 6, 7 spots for wide receiver?
Who do you want to move up for? Do you have a guy that you like?
I'm looking, Jordan Tyson, Arizona State, or Denzel Boston, Washington. The Niners have drafted wide receivers from both of those places.
Those guys are probably going to go in the top 20. That means they'd have to move up at least 7 spots.
Okay.
I don't think I think wide receiver is a major need. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's the 49ers first round need. I think they probably need to go in the trenches or somewhere else. But they may even have to go with a veteran. Rookie receivers hardly ever step into the NFL and do anything. And if they do anything, they hardly ever are great, So it takes a while for a rookie receiver generally to step in because there's the layer of complexity on the NFL compared to the college game is hugely different for receivers. So I kind of like the veteran angles more, at least to solve the problem. I think I would look towards guys who have played in the league. I really liked your idea of Jordan Addison. I know he's not necessarily a great guy as far as some of the problems he's had off the field, but I think he makes a lot of sense. I really do. And I kind of think when I was looking at the wide receiver list, Jordan Addison, Alec Pierce as a free agent, Romeo Doubs as a free agent, Wan'Dale Robinson as a free agent, Barrows threw out Xavier Legette from Carolina.
He's awful.
He has been awful, but he is big and fast. A.J. Brown is definitely available. Today, Coach Yak threw out Drake London for Mac Jones in a third. He's not a burner, but he is a very good receiver. I think I would try to go veteran route. I think I would try to get Jordan Addison. I think I would try to sign Romeo Doubs.
Only problem with that is that trying to get cheaper, you're trying to get younger, you're trying to get faster, and you're already spending on Kittle and McCaffrey and Trent and Brock. You could sign a veteran, although if the Niners do that, I feel like they're going to sign Jawan Jennings. Let's be honest. The reason I think they might do this is because if they trade for Jordan Addison, one, there's the legal issue, but also he's going to be up for an extension next year if they want to give him an extension. I think the Niners need as many guys on rookie deals as possible. So the fact that they traded up for Aiyuk in the first place when it comes to replacing Aiyuk, we know they've done it in the past. They have a pipeline from Arizona State. I don't know if they can get up high enough to get Jordan Tyson, but that one seems like something they would do. Not something they should do. I'm with you. I think they should go trenches, but they haven't gone trenches in round one since Mike McGlinchey, and I think they still regret that.
Well, it's funny. At 4 o'clock, there's going to be the East-West Shrine game, and I was just looking at the rosters to see who's in that game. There's a Georgia receiver named Dylan Bell who kind of reminds me a little bit of Debo, who's in that game tonight at 4 o'clock, and I'm going to watch that and see what he looks like. But, I like Jeremy Bernard from Alabama. I'm an A&M fan. I like KC Concepcion. He's got I think he'll go to Indy and run a great 40. I like Chris Bell from Louisville, but he tore his ACL, and he may not be ready at the beginning of training camp. Some of the different websites I've seen said Zachariah Branch, who's a burner from Georgia, but he's little. He's 5'11", 5'10", and he's skinny, 175 pounds. But he's a home run machine. Deion Burks from Oklahoma is another guy. Shanahan said it. He's like, we were noticeably slower. And Grant, I'll tell you, I think people get the most overdone thing are these people, and I don't want to start pointing fingers, but I used to scout, I used to coach, I watched the All-22, I watch it every week, but I think there's too much emphasis put on the film from people who don't really know what they're watching a lot of times.
Right.
All I will say though, if you're ever going to watch a film and be like, wow, go watch Niners Seahawks playoff game. The Niner receivers got absolutely zero separation against the Seahawks defensive backs the entire game. I mean, it was pretty amazing to watch. I've never seen receivers glued or corners glued to receivers and safeties glued to receivers like Seattle was to the Niners. There was no room at all. No room at all. So they got to find some guys who can separate. And whoever they get, it's got to be somebody that is ready to roll in 2026.
And like, even if they were to go get Jordan Addison, to me, he's not really a one-to-one replacement for Brandon Aiyuk, because when Brandon Aiyuk was in his prime in 2023, that's a number one wide receiver who can line up at X, beat the jam, win down the field or intermediate or short, and is a good blocker.
Yeah.
And he was a critically essential blocker to this team. That's what they're looking for. And Jordan Addison can do a lot of that. He can get open at three levels. He's not a blocker. He's kind of small. Him and Ricky Pearsall as the two starting wide receivers are two receivers who can't block. Tell me about Jordan Tyson and Denzel Boston. I know nothing about them.
Well, I mean, they're big. Tyson's very smooth in and out of his breaks, but he's thin, and he's not a big guy. He's 6'1", about 195 pounds, but he's very, very liquid. He's very smooth, very a lot like Jordan Addison. Very slithery, hard to stay with him. He's almost like a basketball player. He's got real slithery moves. Denzel Boston's big. He's more like Drake London. He's 6'3", 210 pounds roughly. He'll high point the ball. He's got a big catch radius. Both these guys, though, played in the Pac-12.
Is he like a better Juwan Jennings?
Oh, he's way faster. I mean, I don't know what he's going to run, but he's not going to run 4
seconds. That might be a nice replacement for Jennings. You could pair him with Ricky.
I mean, to me, Carnell Tate is spectacular. I mean, everybody talked about the freshman there, and the freshman's great. Smith, Jeremiah, whatever. But Carnell Tate is, I think, going to be a star. I love Carnell Tate. I think he's really, really good.
Can they trade up high enough to get him?
I mean, yeah. I mean, he's probably going to go, I would say, between 10 and 15. So, yeah. I mean, if you have Mac Jones. And like if the Jets, I mean, I saw a mock yesterday where Daniel Jeremiah, I think, had Carnell Tate going to the Jets with their second first-round pick, which is the Colts pick. I think it's 16. If Mac Jones wants to start and the Jets are going to need a quarterback, could you trade your first-round pick and Mac Jones to the Jets for the 16th pick and then take Carnell Tate? I mean, I'd sign off on that for sure. But the more I look at these receivers, the more I'm thinking, you know what? There's 4 of them. Tyson, Carnell Tate, Mekhi Lemon's really special for SC. He's kind of like Amon-Ra, really. He's very similar to Amon-Ra. Great player. Denzel Boston. Those guys are all going to go in the top 20, depending on how everybody runs at the combine. Chris Bell from Louisville is probably like a TO type. I mean, he's big and physical and fast, and he's the guy that I really, really liked, but he tore, I think, his ACL, and I think he's probably going to be either a redshirt year or he's not going to be ready until the middle of the year. So he's not necessarily a fit. And then once you get down the list, the sleeper guy is this guy, Ted Hurst from Georgia State, who's going to, I'm not sure if he's in this game. I think he's in the Senior Bowl next weekend. So Ted Hurst.
Larry, I love that you're going into sleepers and stuff, but this is Kyle, man. He won't even play Jordan Watkins.
I know, but
if you're not drafted in the top 45 picks as a wide receiver, it's over for you. It's over for you. So again, I appreciate your homework. You do a great job, but this is Kyle we're talking about. If he's replacing Aiyuk, he took one swing on Ricky. It's not Ricky. Ricky might be a good number 2 if he can stay healthy, but you know what they're going to do. It's going to be they're taking a wide receiver in round 1, Larry. Deep down in your heart, they will.
I'll tell you what I fear. I fear the return of Debo, because when you look at the Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch and the way they went about maneuvering this summer, every time they had an injury, they went to somebody they had previously had. Yep. I wonder if the Niners even have a functioning personnel department top to bottom, or if it really is just Kyle Shanahan just kind of winging it, because he seems like he wants guys that he knows, that he likes, that he remembers. I mean, look at it. They went to Kendrick Bourne over Brandon Cooks. Cooks is exactly what they needed, a veteran receiver who could still run down the field, but they know Bourne, and Bourne knew Mac, and we had Bourne here. So I don't think they looked beyond Bourne. They should have gone with Cooks, but there was no previous experience there. So I'm a little kind of skeptical as to the scope that they have. But I will say this. I realize that name, Ted Hurst, is a name that nobody knows, and it's a little deep, but it's a deep pull. And the kid plays at Georgia State. But, I mean, Jerry Rice played at Mississippi Valley State. I'm not saying that this guy's Jerry Rice, but I see small school guys every year that I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. This guy is super special. And I don't know where he came from. I don't know how he got to Georgia State. I don't know where he's going to go in this draft. But Ted Hurst in the second round might be the better play than to try to trade up for a round one guy.
If the 49ers want to trade up, the team that I think is really intriguing as a trade partner is Minnesota, because they're at 18, and that's a good spot. It's not that far up. You could probably get from 27 to 18 with the third round pick or Mac Jones. And I don't know what the Vikings – I feel very confident they're not just going to go into next season with J.J. McCarthy and some weak backup and say we're fine here, because I think that GM's job is on the line. Every game that Sam Darnold wins, his seat gets hotter. I wouldn't be surprised if they can't land some Joe Burrow type, that they try to get Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones would be really good on that team. And if the Niners could use Mac Jones to move up from 27 to 18 and get a receiver that they think is as good as Brandon Aiyuk or better, I could see him doing that.
Well, you might be able to get Jordan Addison in that deal too.
Right.
I think the price tag on Addison is going to be really low, because of his off-field problems, because of his, as you said, they denied the 5th-year option, I believe, on him. They're probably not going to sign him to a contract extension. I bet you could get Mac Jones for that pick and Addison. I bet you could get them both. And I'll say this, the Niners are going to need something that provides numbers, because they need numbers of linebackers.
You could throw Ricky in the deal too. If their starting wide receivers are Jordan Addison and Jordan Tyson, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I've heard people say, Greg Papa was saying, the Niners love Ricky. Not from what I was told.
Yeah,
I was told that Ricky is going to be traded, and that Renardo's likely to be traded as well. Now, the Niners obviously are not going to come out and say that. That hurts their trade value immediately. So it's not a shocker that we haven't heard anything official, but just put that one away, because I mean, I didn't seek this out. I was just in the press box talking to some Niner people, and somebody came over and spun that to me. So, I mean,
Can I just say something though? The Niners are famous for talking a big game and then doing nothing. That's true. Like, I heard last year that the Niners were having conversation. What I heard last year is that Brock Purdy came in at $55 million a year. He said, "This is what I want." And he never budged. And the Niners, known, for playing hardball, actually called up Tennessee and said, "Would you like Brock?" And they were like, "Yeah, we like Brock. We like Brock. We would give you a second-round pick for Brock." But then they wanted Cam Ward more. And the Niners, of course, wanted Brock. And they gave him everything, single penny that he wanted, minus like $1 million or $2 million a year. That's what I heard. So, look, I'm with you on that. But the Niners aren't as tough as they seem. Unless your name is Brandon. Then they will ruin your life. Sorry.
Well, I mean, and I heard Papa say today, he's talking about Jennings' contract, and he's like, if he wants $24 million, I'm like, $24 million? What? I wouldn't give that guy $20 million, let alone $24 million. I think I'm cutting it off at about 16. To me,
give that money to an offensive lineman, please.
2 years, $32 million. You want more than that? Goodbye. I'll say this. The other thing that the more I watched the 49er, I did my own review, and I watched a bunch of bunch of film, bunch of games that I wanted to see, and bits and pieces, and looked at the roster. I'll tell you, even though the Niners invent new needs. Like, they didn't need a kicker, and then suddenly here's Jake Moody, and it was like they had Robbie Gould, and suddenly it's like, oh no, we need a kicker, and we're going to invest a 3rd round pick in him. I kind of think the 49ers are going to be looking for their John Lynch. And I'm not talking about a general manager. I'm talking about a big-time safety who's going to run that secondary. Dylan Thieneman from Oregon, Caleb Downs, like you're talking about trading up in round 1. Caleb Downs is an awesome player for Ohio State. This A.J. Halsey from LSU. There's a jumbo corner named Emmanuel McNeil Warren from Toledo. All these guys are going in the first, couple rounds. But I know they need a corner. I know people look at them and say, oh, they don't need a safety. They've got, Mustafa, they've got Brown, they've got Siegel. But I think they're looking for somebody to run that secondary. And it wouldn't surprise me if they went big on a Downs or a Thieneman or one of those other guys.